A parliamentary showdown over the pipeline MOU.
I think it's correct to describe this as a stunt.
Federal Liberals reject a Conservative motion meant to test support on getting a line built. Plus, police investigate hateful messages spray-painted around Brooks.
We've had now a total of 9 different reports.
One of the most diverse cities in Canada rallies to support its residents. And YYC promises smoother holiday travel.
What we're doing with this investment is making it easier and removing anxiety.
Faster security screening and tips for those on the go this Christmas.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. Political theater gripped the House of Commons today with the government and the opposition grappling over the Memorandum of Understanding on a pipeline to the BC coast. A Conservative motion was voted down, which directly quoted some of the MOU. While some call it a stunt, others believe it was an attempt to find a fractured Liberal caucus. Tyson Fedor reports.
I declare the amendment defeated.
Having a vote here.
The Liberal government, with the help from the NDP and Bloc Québécois, soundly defeated a non-binding Conservative motion on Ottawa's energy agreement with Alberta. The symbolic vote was meant to echo the deal Mark Carney signed with Danielle Smith.
It's not just the pipeline. It's not just pathways. It is a price on industrial price on carbon that goes to $130 effective.
But a price on carbon was directly left out of the motion, even though Pierre Poilievre amended it Tuesday to include engagement with BC, private funding, and First Nation ownership.
Not only do we acknowledge the obligation to consult with our First Peoples, we put that right in the motion. It's right there. It's right there, Mark.
But political watchers say the vote was political theater staged by the Conservatives to show cracks within the Liberal caucus.
The public argument is not, oh, we're trying to split the Liberal Party. It goes, we want the Liberals to officially go on the record that they support this MOU. Well, the Prime Minister already signed it.
This game playing, right? They've created a motion where voting yes makes a pipeline less likely and voting no makes a pipeline less likely. So I really wonder how much Pierre Poilievre wants a pipeline.
Alberta's Premier remains committed with the Prime Minister to implement the MOU.
I wouldn't take whatever outcome there is as any indication other than some politics that are happening.
Some First Nations groups on BC's North Coast are opposed to a modified tanker moratorium, rejecting any Alberta bitumen to its shores.
We've never supported the pipelines or the tanker traffic, and they're not part of our vision for a healthy, sustainable, economically diverse economy.
However, others are fully on board with the MOU and want shovels in the ground.
It's going to be a long-term benefit for First Nation communities. It's going to be 30-year agreements. It's going to be ownership. It's going to be seats on the board of the pipeline. It's going to be monitoring. So we've got to get our people to work.
And Tyson joins us now. So Tyson, what are the next steps with this MOU?
Well, Tara, the Premier does say there's still a lot of work left to do over the next several months. That includes finding a private proponent to fund this project. The province is working with several major energy companies to draw out exactly what that might look like. Now, Prime Minister Mark Carney did say today that his party would have supported this motion if it included the entire Memorandum of Understanding. Now, Alberta does have until July 1st to meet that required deadline before this project potentially could become reality. Tara?
Okay, Tyson, thank you. Brooks RCMP are investigating racist graffiti that's been popping up around the city. There's been 9 reported cases since October 1st. Here's Quinn Keenan.
Several different locations across Brooks have been tagged with white supremacist vandalism. The JBS Recreation Center, parks, and other city-owned infrastructure were all vandalized. Stickers promoting the White Lives Matter movement have also been seen on City Hall. Brooks RCMP are taking the matter seriously.
We've had now a total of 9 different reports of racist slurs and photos and stickers being put up around town in public places. So some have been spray painted in one of our water parks that is currently out of use for the fall.
Brooks has seen sporadic vandalism like this over the past several years, but nothing this concentrated. Officers say they are disappointed to see this sort of activity in their community.
Personally, it's very difficult to see it because I know a lot of these individuals who are here working in our community to make our community a better place and make it home for their own families. What a slap in the face to them.
City crews have done their best to cover up the hateful messages, but but some remnants of the graffiti are still visible, becoming a hassle for some to deal with the cleanup.
What we would recommend to people is to get in touch with our Public Works Department so that they can get in touch with the RCMP whenever any of these items are put up around the city of Brooks.
Brooks is often said to be one of the most diverse cities in Canada, with more than 100 languages spoken by its 15,000 residents. The city says it feels this behavior doesn't represent the vast majority of residents.
Brooks is a fantastic community. We're a very welcoming and inclusive community. We've got a lot of different nationalities represented within the city of Brooks, and I believe there was probably about 70 countries represented.
Brooks RCMP are asking anyone with information on who's behind the vandalism to come forward. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Brooks.
So anyone with information on that vandalism can contact Brooks RCMP or Crime Stoppers if they wish to remain anonymous. A Lloydminster man has been charged with willful promotion of hatred and weapons offences. Mounties searched the 38-year-old man's home last week and say they seized guns and hate-promoting items, including a Nazi flag. We have breaking news in the Air Transat labor dispute. The pilots' union says a tentative agreement has been reached. Pilots were scheduled to go on strike overnight, but now a ratification vote on the deal will be held in the coming days. In anticipation of a strike, the airline has been cancelling flights, affecting thousands of travelers. The Airline Pilots Association says the agreement delivers a modern contract for its 750 members, but did not release any details. The company says it included significant pay hikes in its latest offer.
As an example, for a senior captain, top scale, year 5, we're looking at over $100,000 pay increase on a yearly basis. So this is a significant, very generous offer that we've made.
Air Transat does not fly directly out of Calgary. The Calgary International Airport is heading into its busy season, but YYC is hoping this year it'll be a lot easier for travelers. A new centralized security area is opening in the domestic terminal just in time for the Christmas rush. Jordan Canagan has more on the preparation and some travel tips to help you get into the air.
It's quiet now, but the holiday travel surge is coming to the Calgary airport. YYC is ready to welcome 1.5 million travelers this month.
December will have an average around 48,000, but during those peak days, we'll get to 60 or 65,000 passengers coming through our doors every day.
December 15th, 19th, and 20th are expected to be the busiest. Just in time, a new centralized screening area is opening Wednesday.
The opening of those 7 lanes represents almost a 40% improvement in capacity versus what is there today, and for the travelers offers a much simpler traveler experience.
The $50 million project brings the same technology to the domestic terminal already being used on the international side.
Liquids, aerosols, gels, 100 milliliters or less each. Medical devices and large electronics, such as laptops, can remain in the carry-on baggage during your screening.
It'll mean a faster and smoother security lineup, but a reminder of some common prohibited items: large knives, sharp tools, and yes, even snow globes over 100 milliliters still are not allowed. Border agents are also expected to be busy for those coming and going from Canada.
Here in Alberta, CBSA officers made more than 1,100 illegal narcotic seizures, including several significant seizures right here at the Calgary International Airport.
Jordan is at the airport tonight. So, Jordan, what else should travelers know during the holiday rush?
Well, Tara, this centralized screening area is set to open tomorrow, and it will make a big difference. They're running through the final preparations ahead of the 7 lanes opening tomorrow, and things will be quicker when this new screening procedure is underway. But the biggest piece of advice that officials can give people is to arrive at the airport early, at least 2 hours if you are flying domestically, at least 3 hours if you are flying internationally. They also remind people that they should not wrap their Christmas gifts before going through security. They also say to people that you should check your flight status early and often, especially as this cooler winter weather approaches Calgary very quickly. Tara?
All right, all good advice, Jordan. Thank you. The southeast portion of Calgary's Green Line is well underway. 5 construction projects started in the summer that ran from Victoria Park to Shepherd. The southeast portion will run for 16 kilometers with 10 stations, 2 bridges, and a storage facility. To date, $1.6 billion has been spent on the project, with Phase 1 budgeted at $6.2 billion. Engagement in major planning on the elevated line downtown will start in January.
So there's work right now around the Crossroads Market and the bridge over Blackfoot Trail and LRT bridge there. There's work currently, there's two sites actually in the communities of Ogden and Linwood-Milliken around those areas. So they will see construction.
A full report on the downtown, including a better idea of cost estimates, won't be ready until the end of next year. The southeast leg is expected to be open to the public in 2031. A long-anticipated Calgary to Banff rail project could be closer to reality than ever before. The project's proponents have submitted the line to Ottawa's Major Projects Office in hopes of getting a fast-tracked approval. There are still hurdles, but as Tim Brook explains, those in favor hope it will be full steam ahead.
After a decade of planning and lobbying, the group trying to push forward a hydrogen-powered passenger train from Calgary to Banff says it's now ready for the next step, and it wants Ottawa's help.
To have them back us and support us and even guide us through this next kind of 2-year phase, we feel would be very important to getting this train over the finish line.
Last week, the group submitted its rail proposal to Canada's Major Projects Office. The federal body can speed up projects in the national interest through streamlined approvals and funding.
We really want this to be a functional train that gets people to work, but also serves the tourism economy.
The idea is to have a line that runs alongside the existing CPKC rail corridor. All $1.5 billion would be paid by the proponents, but there is a catch.
The province builds their train from the airport to downtown Calgary and gives us access to 3 trains per hour.
The project will only go ahead if another line is built running from the airport to downtown Calgary. The province says it welcomes the idea, but it won't invest until it ensures the project provides real, measurable value for Albertans. The city is definitely on board.
I'm encouraged to see the most recent submission. Obviously, the devil's in the details. We'll see to what level the province is interested in stepping up.
Travelers also like the idea. This group from Atlanta says their preference would be to skip the icy Highway 1 trek they've planned.
We've also been to Europe before, and that is very handy.
It'd just be nice to hop in there and not have to worry about focusing on the road if I was driving. And I feel like the train would have a very scenic route.
Still, conservationists have concerns, specifically around visitor volume and important wildlife corridors in the area.
This isn't the kind of project that we should be fast-tracking. We should be taking our time, doing the proper studies and making sure it really is the best option.
The developers say they'd love to consult with opponents to figure out a plan that works for everyone. They're convinced, with federal help, the train could be making trips as soon as 2030. Tim Brook, CTV News, Calgary.
The province completed a regional passenger rail master plan this year, looking at the feasibility of multiple projects. It says officials look forward to seeing this project's finalized plan. Well, Danielle's on location tonight at Trail Appliances. We'll get a Toy Mountain update a little later, but first, how is our evening shaping up?
Well, I'll start with this. We were at 5 degrees at 1 in the afternoon, and our temperatures have plummeted ever since. So we're in the minus double digits, wind chill in the minus teens. As you can see here, we've gone from fog to freezing fog, and everything that has melted out there on the roads and sidewalks over the last 24 hours is now flash freezing. So please keep that in mind. Sidewalks in some parts, roads, slippery spots, absolutely, especially over these next 12 hours. When we look at the next 24 hours, I think the key thing to mention is that while we've been plummeting temperature-wise, we're going to get these strong winds out of the west starting early in the morning. So that will get us up to -4 in the morning with a wind chill of -8 and +4 in the afternoon. It will be gusty, though. And your longer-range forecast, very cold, Tara. I'll share that coming up.
All right. Thank you, Danielle. Banff makes moves to protect more elk around the town. Why thinning the vegetation around the tracks would help elk as trains approach. And keeping the memories alive. A special blood donation drive in honor of a young woman this Christmas. Those details are just ahead. A remarkable rescue effort off the southern tip of Vancouver Island after a Royal Canadian Navy member fell overboard from an inflatable boat.
I see heat source in the water. It's dark as well, near the flare. He just waved his hand up. He is alive.
Nice.
There's a boat and helicopter picking him up as we speak.
Crews, with the help of vessels and aircraft from both Canada and the U.S., spotted a flare. They managed to rescue the man after he spent more than 2 hours in that cold water. Banff is known for its wildlife, and now council is moving forward with a plan to protect elk from trains in town. But some residents question why taxpayers should cover the costs and not the rail company. Terry Fikowski has more on the problem section of railway and efforts to keep the animals on, or in this case, off track.
This quiet stretch of railway in Banff has become a common spot for collisions with elk. The issue was flagged to the mountain town by Parks Canada, which says more than 42 elk were killed along the short stretch of tracks between 2004 and 2025.
The strategy for the town of Banff is to reduce human-wildlife conflict to 0 incidents within the town site over time.
That's the motivation for council voting in favor of a plan on Tuesday to thin out a dense wooded area within the town boundary along a 2-kilometer stretch of the line. The hope is to create clearer sight lines for elk as trains approach between an industrial compound near Eagle Crescent and the railway tracks. Officials say the project would also complement its efforts to reduce wildfire risks near the town site.
One of the benefits of this project would actually be to reduce the fuel load around our industrial district of Banff and reduce fire risk to those properties.
It would cost $20,000 to clear vegetation every 5 years starting in 2027. But some residents wonder why CPKC isn't footing the bill.
I think before municipal money is committed to working on the project, I think they need to be part of that conversation, and we need to see what they're going to do to help out as a partner in protecting this ecosystem.
Council also questioned CPKC's role.
They have this big machine that cuts down all the trees along the railway right-of-way. Is there been talks with CPKC?
Administration hasn't approached the company, but in a statement, CPKC says it works with Parks Canada and others in an attempt to mitigate wildlife conflict, adding there is no simple solutions for minimizing strikes along railway corridors.
I think there are probably some other opportunities to directly address the train traffic.
Work on the project to help elk steer clear of trains is slated to take place in 2027, but is contingent on a collaboration with Parks Canada. Terry Fikowski, CTV News, Banff.
CTV has reached out to Parks Canada for comment on the funding and is waiting to hear back.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Our weather took a turn today. Danielle joins us with Trail Appliances tonight with those details and a Toy Mountain update. Danielle.
Yeah, so before we get to the cold weather, I'm going to warm your hearts a little bit. So I'm here at the Deerfoot Meadows Trail Appliance location, which is basically where all the toys that are donated get collected and counted. Why is this important? This is part of a campaign, Toy Mountain, as we've talked about many, many times. And Toy Mountain supports Fear is Not Love. I have Kim Roos here with me. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
CEO of Fear is Not Love. So can you tell us why the campaign is important?
Sure. This campaign is incredibly important for us for several reasons. One, it raises awareness. It certainly spreads the word so that people understand more about the issue. But most importantly, it brings in toys and essentials and funding to help us run all year round. So in particular, the toys, you might think it's only around the holiday season. Actually, at our agency, we use it all year round because women and children are often fleeing with very little. And of course, we want to try and brighten the day of those children and bring them some toys to help sort of make that transition a little easier on them.
Oh, that's so special. And can you tell us about essential items that are needed at this time?
Well, we always need, winter coats, boots, socks, underwear, shampoo, conditioner, lotions, those types of things. We use them all year round, and we're always in need of those things.
And of course, online cash donations always helpful
absolutely.
For everything.
Yeah.
All right, now tell us about the Magic Room.
So the Magic Room is this magical space as it sounds. It's a wonderful room in the shelter that when the children first come in, they actually get to go shopping. So it's set up like a little store for them, and all the toys are laid out by age group and different interests, and they can actually go in there and just pick what they need to get through those days. And then we also use that room, like if they're having a birthday or something special is happening while they're in the shelter, then they can make a visit to the magic room.
Now that's heartwarming. Yeah. And if you can and are willing to donate, here's what you can do. There's nearly 30 drop-off locations. You can go to our website, ctvcalgary.ca, to get the whole list of them. So you can drop off a toy at any of these locations, or you can make a cash donation online. I want to quickly give you the numbers of where we're at. We're so far at 4,617 toys. Wow. And for a total toy and cash value at this point, $490,771. So thank you so much to our community for helping support Fear Is Not Love year-round. All right, let's check out weather, because yeah, you need to know what's happening coming up here, because there's a lot going on. All right, -11 is the current temperature in Calgary, and yes, we were at +5 earlier today. That was at 1 o'clock. Temperatures are plummeting fast. They will continue to do so. When we talk wind gusts, basically, I'm not sure why the graphic isn't showing the wind speeds, but Pincher Creek, Lethbridge over to Medicine Hat, gusts were closer to 60-70 kilometers per hour. That's going to enhance, especially Pincher Creek, Crowsnest Pass area, where 100 kilometer per hour gusts are possible tonight and through tomorrow, and that's why there's the wind warning in place for those communities there. It will be windy in Calgary, just not wind warning type windy. 50 kilometer per hour gusts certainly possible tomorrow, and we're also looking at snowfall in the longer range forecast. When you look at how much is expected really Thursday through Friday, 1 to 3 centimeters likely for Calgary, but further to the south we'll get more snow. 15 centimeters is likely in the Lethbridge area over these next 3 days. 4 degrees is our high for tomorrow, so another toasty day before we really start our big long-term cool down. Tomorrow night, 1 centimeter snow possible, then another centimeter possible Thursday and Friday. -13 will be the high for Thursday, -19 by Friday. Tara?
All right, Danielle, thank you. If money is tight over the holidays, consider giving something you already have instead. A Calgary mom says you can donate blood and give the gift of life for people like her daughter who passed away last year. She started a blood drive to continue her daughter's legacy. Alicia Fieldberg reports.
A lot of her friends say that she was their best friend.
Manal Mullen had a magnetic personality and big laugh, but most people didn't know she lived with a medical condition called thalassemia, which meant she relied on blood donors every 3 to 5 weeks.
Thanks to everybody out there. She went through 300 transfusions in her life, and she lived an amazing life.
Manal graduated high school and was about to start psychology at University of Calgary. Then she had a bone marrow transplant to cure her condition, but died of complications less than a month after turning 18. Now her mom coordinates a blood drive on Manal's birthday. December 30th is also a time of great need.
It's a really difficult time for us, especially between the last week of December and going into the first week of January. We have about 2,400 open appointments that we need to fill.
If you're over the age of 17 and meet the minimum weight requirements, you can donate blood several times a year and plasma every week.
It takes about an hour of your time to save someone's life.
You're actually allowing people like my daughter to live for that extra month.
69 people donated at the first blood drive held in Manal's honor. This time, her mom hopes for 100.
You guys have no idea how much it means to me, to my daughter, to other families.
Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
After Manal died, Mullen also became a certified grief coach to help families and friends cope with the death of a teenager. We have more details on this and the blood drive on our website. New legislation aimed at protecting Canadians just ahead. We've got the details on Ottawa's plan to toughen laws on gender-based violence and deep fakes. And the FBI releases a new photo of a Canadian fugitive believed to be on the run in Mexico. Those stories are ahead. A new trial has been ordered for a man convicted in a homicide at a Calgary motel. In 2019, 66-year-old Harry Jones was found dead in a room at the Red Carpet Inn on 16th Avenue Northwest. Dale Topolinski, who was sharing the room with Jones, was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 9 years in prison. But new evidence from a pathologist has prompted the Court of Appeal to order a new trial. Dates for that have not been determined. Amendments were proposed to fix gaps in Canada's criminal code today. It is important legislation with reforms directed at keeping kids safe and protecting victims of gender-based violence, including femicide. CTV's Abigail Beeman outlines the changes to the Justice Bill and why it is so significant.
That happened on Mother's Day 2003.
A survivor of attempted intimate partner femicide, Nneka McGregor feels lucky she didn't end up a statistic. In 2024, 187 women in Canada were killed violently.
I've spent the last 2+ decades advocating for a lot of the changes that have been proposed today.
McGregor says the Liberals' new legislation goes a long way to end gender-based violence, especially the move to make femicide classified as first-degree murder and a new criminal offense for certain types of coercive and controlling behaviors to help stop abuse before it's too late.
We have an opportunity to better protect kids who are at risk of exploitation and to address very real concerns about violence against women, including violence that could be fatal.
If passed, C-16 will restore a dozen mandatory minimum penalties previously found unconstitutional, but also give courts some discretion to order shorter sentences to address the problem of potential charter infringement. The bill also makes it illegal to distribute deepfakes without someone's consent.
Unless you do XYZ, then I'm going to share that with your family. I am going to post it to all of your friends. And, children are rightfully terrified.
This cybersecurity expert says the bill closes a critical loophole and legislation is long overdue.
The delay in introducing this law has had a profound effect on kids.
There is some overlap from the beleaguered Trudeau-era online harms bill, namely the requirement for internet service providers to notify police about any child porn. But the Justice Minister says this isn't a copy and paste. He hopes to have the support of all parties to pass this bill. It's not yet clear if he will. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
The FBI has released a new photo of Canadian fugitive Ryan Wedding. The former Olympian is an alleged drug kingpin. The photo may have been taken in Mexico this past summer. The 44-year-old is allegedly connected to multiple murders. The FBI believes one of the most wanted men is in hiding under the protection of Mexico's Sinaloa cartel. Do you still mail Christmas cards to friends and family? For many, it's all about connection, and it's getting lost for some seniors. How you can help, just ahead. While the holiday season can be a time of joy and love, it can also be isolating and sometimes depressing if you don't have proper supports. That's why several community groups are reminding Calgarians about the importance of connection this holiday season. Jacqueline Wilson explains.
Christmas was always a big deal at Bonnie LeBlanc's childhood home.
Our house was always decked out with all the lights inside and out. It was just a really big festive time for our family. And Mom would always get lots of cards, at least 50 a year. She would send out at least 100.
But that's changed in recent years. Now her mom is palliative and without cards. So LeBlanc made a post on X and people answered.
So far, we've received 229 cards all across Canada, some from the States. The furthest away so far is Germany. She's ecstatic. Every day she waits by the door waiting for my dad to show up from the mailbox.
It just goes to show a small act of kindness can make a big difference. It's the reason Karya, a Calgary social impact company, is running its second annual Sending Seasons Greetings to Seniors card initiative.
We really identified that some things in the community were disrupting folks accessing Christmas cards, such as the postal strike. And we know that in the Calgary community, seniors are some of the fastest growing populations and also some of the most vulnerable. So we've established this incredible campaign to bring a little bit of holiday joy into the hands and homes of individuals who might be isolated this holiday season.
Cards can be dropped off at any Karya office until December 19th to spread a little holiday cheer during a time that can be happy for some but stressful and isolating for others. It's a season when Distress Centre Calgary receives an influx of calls.
People are concerned. People are overwhelmed. We're spending a lot more money around the holiday seasons. Perhaps employment concerns are starting to come forward. There's family dynamics that we have to work through.
Their crisis response line is available 24/7 all year by phone or text.
We're really leaning into keeping human connection alive because we know that human connection saves lives.
Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
The Distress Center has launched its Keep Human Connection Alive campaign. Every dollar donated will be matched up to $100,000. The fundraiser is to ensure that every call, every text, every chat is met with a real person who can listen. Donations can be made at distresscenter.com. All right, Glenn is here with us now for our trending videos tonight. Music, of course, can be very motivational during a workout, especially if you got a big long run, you need some music. So it's probably not the best idea to leave your playlist to someone else. Not the best music for a run. So this guy asked his followers, send me the worst songs that you could put on a playlist for this Thanksgiving Day race I have. And they did not disappoint. So he had some Sarah McLachlan, he had some REM. The Enya made me laugh. There's some classics there. There was a little Spandau Ballet, there was some Johnny Cash. Like, none of it would be motivating to get you through a run.
No upbeat music whatsoever. Did he finish last, I wonder?
No, I don't know. I don't know how he finished, but I'm sure he'd laugh the whole way.
I'm sure he did.
Well, now to some music that's going to bring the whole family together. Okay, ABBA gets everybody on the dance floor. This family consists of 6 sisters, and then they all had daughters, so now they all get together, and they have a big ABBA party every year.
That's awesome,
that's
right?
A pretty good family
Everyone gets
tradition.
together and has fun. Why not, right?
Because everybody knows the songs to every, or the words to every ABBA song, whether you think you do or not.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, finally, 'tis the season to decorate, and hopefully you don't have a micromanaging dad like this one in charge.
I'm going to need you to think about this. This is the cafe. It's next to the school and the mayor's house. Do you think that that's correct?
Okay, so this little guy, he just wanted to put some houses up, but his dad had a very specific vision for the village. You can't put the cafe next to the school, apparently. That's not functionally correct. So there are some very strict rules in place here setting up this Christmas town.
Just let the kid have fun.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Dad's going to have to relax, or I think Dad's going to have to buy a second Christmas village.
Dad must be a builder or something.
Yeah, he had some very, very strict ideas, but that's not going to last long. Still to come, a big investment in Canada's AI development. We have details on Microsoft's plans for multi-billion-dollar data centers. That's coming up in our business report.
All right, now in the city, freezing fog is happening out there. The temperatures have plummeted, so flash freezing on sidewalks and roads. It's slick out there, so be cautious if you're heading out. The difference when we get into tomorrow is we're going to get a strong wind to the west, and that's going to increase our temperatures. So even by early in the morning, you'll notice a mild difference. Today's high was +5, and that was at 1 in the afternoon, and we quickly dropped to -11. So -11 is the ambient temperature. It feels more like -16 with that lovely wind chill. You can see that cold air from the far north, -20s, Grand Prairie, Peace River, Fort McMurray has been filtering down, regulating as it gets down here because it's been so warm in southern Alberta. And these temperatures will switch and become a lot warmer tomorrow afternoon thanks to those winds out of the west. But it will be very windy. Calgary looking at gusts around 50 kilometers per hour. Brooks, Medicine Hat as well. And areas to the west of Lethbridge, Pincher Creek, Crow's Nest Pass, these areas are looking at gusts up to 100 kilometers per hour, which is why there is a wind warning in place for tonight and for tomorrow. When we look at snowfall longer term, especially for Wednesday night in through Friday, about 15 centimeters is likely in Lethbridge in total, and 1 to 3 centimeters in the city, about 5 centimeters closer to Tabor and Medicine Hat. All right, your 24-hour forecast is brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free, and temperatures will start to warm up fast early in the morning. So by 8 a.m., a wind chill of -8, which is an improvement, and in the afternoon, +4, again with winds gusting around 50 kilometers per hour. When you look at that longer-term forecast, though, later in the week, especially by Friday, temperatures will plummet once again, and it will be a long-term cool down. We'll talk more about that coming up. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. A Conservative motion aimed at pinning down the Liberals on support for a pipeline has been defeated. Liberal, Bloc and NDP MPs voted against the motion, which quoted part of the Carney Smith Memorandum of Understanding. Critics say the motion was a stunt because a price on carbon was left out. Brooks RCMP are looking for those responsible for hate graffiti. White supremacist and anti-immigrant messages have appeared around the city. And a pilot strike at Air Transat has been averted for now. The union says it has a tentative agreement. Pilots were set to walk off the job overnight. Alberta's official opposition says the government is changing the rules as it sees fit after legislature business was shut down yesterday afternoon.
The motion has been made to adjourn until 7:30 tonight. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say no. No. The ayes have it. A division is called. Ring the bells.
The decision meant NDP and independent MLAs couldn't ask questions of the government or make or advance any motions ahead of the legislative break. It came after the UCP proposed moving up the debate over two of its bills to change the schedule. There needed to be unanimous consent, which the NDP refused. The UCP says the NDP has repeatedly asked for longer debate times.
Can't have it both ways. You either have to choose one or the other. You can't argue that there isn't enough time to argue in this legislature and at the same time decline the opportunity to have more robust debate on those bills.
That sounds to me like the rhetoric of bullies that say, we're going to take away your time to talk about what you want to talk about, but we're going to blame you because you didn't want to talk about our government business. Private members' business, whether it's bills, written questions and motions for return, or private members' motions like Sarah Hoffman's, are a key part of our parliamentary democracy.
UCP MLAs said they spent the afternoon preparing for the debates. They wanted to move earlier. Those ended up going until after midnight. One of the big tech companies is investing billions of dollars into Canadian AI development. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more.
Microsoft will invest $7.5 billion in Canada over the next 2 years to build out AI infrastructure. That means expanding data centers and upgrading technology to handle advanced AI processing. Microsoft is also committing to keep Canadian data secure. The company says this is part of a $19 billion spend in Canada from 2023 to 2027. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up a fraction to 72.20. West Texas Intermediate crude is down to 58.33. Western Canadian Select is down over $1 to 45.40. And the TSX moved up 74 points today to close at 31,244. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
A meeting originally scheduled tonight for all of Alberta's local soccer organizations is on hold until further notice after developments in a courtroom this morning. The meeting was supposed to deal with the 5-year suspension of former Alberta Soccer Association President J.R. Figueiredo. He was suspended by the ASA board after a workplace harassment investigation concluded he made verbal threats about an employee, created a hostile work environment, and several other infractions. 4 soccer groups, including the Calgary Women's Soccer Association, wanted the suspension lifted, arguing the ASA didn't follow its own bylaws. Today, a last-minute agreement was reached in an Edmonton court to not hold a membership meeting until a court hearing can be held at a later date. A fan favorite is leaving Calgary's soccer team. After 7 seasons, Captain Marco Carducci is leaving Cavalry FC. Glenn has those details for us next.
I'm not that creative, but I let the kids be the creative ones.
Michael Backlund and several other Flames spread festive cheer at the Alberta Children's Hospital today. They made Christmas ornaments with young patients. Families who spend a lot of time at the hospital say the surprise brings them a lot of joy. Some Stampeders, Roughnecks, and Flames alumni also visited the hospital. The Calgary Canucks have just 1 game this week. Glenn is back with us. And Glenn, that's a pretty light schedule in the AJHL.
Tara, it is. The only game the Canucks have this week is tomorrow night against the Devon Extreme. The Canucks have moved back into first place in the AJHL South, and one of their veteran defensemen has played a big role in the team's success.
To the blue line, Wallace, who's been deadly all season, and look at that.
Wade Wallace is one of only a few players who returned to the Calgary Canucks this season. He's the only defenseman back from last year's Centennial Cup winning team. and that means he's being counted on a lot more.
I like it. Gives you high expectations, but with a younger group of guys too, you have to show them what you got to do. So, and it helps the younger guys produce more points as well. It's my second year. It's a little more experience. That helps a lot, and that a lot of opportunity this year on the power play. That's been clicking. That's pretty good so far. So it helps.
Up top it goes Wallace. 1 minute to go in the period. Scored.
Wallace is fourth in team scoring with a goal and 19 assists in 25 games. Head coach Matt Robinson has high praise for the second-year rear guard.
Yeah, I might be a little bit biased, but I think he's the best defenseman in the league. I mean, he quarterbacks all situations out there. He's been a great addition for our team, and one of our leaders on and off the ice. With the experience from last year, he's really stepped into a major role this year.
The other responsibility Wallace has taken on is mentoring the young defensemen on the team. Right now, the 19-year-old is paired with 16-year-old Cale McCann.
Yeah, obviously it's great, being with an older guy. Obviously has the Centennial Cup and the AJHL championship under his belt, so it's great. And, obviously he's a really skilled and good guy to learn from, so yeah, no, it's huge.
Wallace is an assistant captain and one of the leaders on the team. He's relatively quiet and prefers to lead by example.
I more lead just on the ice, the way I play, and treating others with the same respect that I want to be treated with. That's kind of how I lead.
The puck drop for tomorrow night's game between the Canucks and Extreme is 7 o'clock at the Ken Bracco Arena. Former Calgary Flames forward Dylan Dubé has found a new home. The 27-year-old forward has signed a deal with Springfield of the American Hockey League. That's the St. Louis Blues affiliate. Dubé was one of 5 players acquitted of sexual assault in a high-profile trial of members of the 2018 Canada Junior Hockey team. Dubé played in the KHL last season. Calgary FC is parting ways with one of its most popular players. The club announced today that captain and goalkeeper Marco Carducci won't be back with the club as his contract has come to an end. Carducci was one of the Cavalry's first signings and played with the club for 7 seasons. He made 193 appearances with the Cavs across all competitions and recorded 57 clean sheets. He won a pair of gold gloves and led the squad to the CPL Shield as the regular season winners in 2023 and the North Star Cup as CPL champions in 2024. One of the classiest guys you're going to meet. Awesome to interview.
Big name. He'll be missed.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Glenn. Let's go back out to Danielle one last time at Trail Appliances. Danielle.
All right, let's start off with that Action Furnace 5-day forecast. And this little weather person has just a couple pieces of advice for you. First is careful out there right now and over these next 12 hours because of the dramatic cool down. We have a lot of icy patches out there. All right, tomorrow afternoon, enjoy it. Enjoy the warmth that we have because then we're into a long-term cool down. -13 for Thursday, -19 for Friday. And our temperatures will be below freezing for about the next 10 days. All right. Your weather window is brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, Alberta's climate, and Val Moyer sent this one in. And I don't know if there's a more beautiful shot of the mountains out there than this. Pretty cool. Thank you very much, Val.
That is very pretty. That's what we always say. It doesn't matter if it's 30 below. When it looks like that, if the sky is blue, it doesn't feel as cold.
Awesome.
Yes. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a terrific evening. For breaking news anytime, go to our website. We'll see you tomorrow.